Good day, everyone. This is Pastor Itani Madima, Kingdom Restoration Church in Thohoyandou. Greetings to all our listeners and our host on the radio. The last time I spoke to you all, it was in 2022. Now we are in the beginning of 2023. Welcome to the new year. I know there is a lot of excitement in the beginning of every year. Well, I've been young and now I'm old. And during the years that I've lived in this planet, I've figured out a few things, and this is one of them. It is not true that every new year brings some magic. Yes, we all celebrated at 12 o'clock midnight as we were crossing over, but by now, some of you realize already that the excitement you had is beginning to subside. And the reason for this is because seasons don't just change because it's a new year. Opportunities do come and go, but they don't necessarily come on the 1st of January. So for this new year, 2023, to become a good year, we have to make it a good year. It's not automatic. I found out that the magic is not in a year, but in the God who created the year. I feel like I should be talking a little bit about the subject of time. For those of you who feel they've been delayed in this life, I have a message for you. The achievements of other people are not the measuring stick for your life. If you think you have passed your years or your age of employment, I have a word for you. For those of you who think they have passed their age for marriage, I have a message for you. Some of you think your years of bearing children have passed already. I have a word for you. It may seem as if your time has passed, but like Sarai and Abraham, God has something unique for your life. After all the struggles they had, God ended up making Abraham a father of many nations, with children as numerous as the stars in the sky or the sand particles in the sea. God has a way of multiplying the very thing that you lacked for most of your life. If He did it for Abraham and Sarai, He can do it for you. Because of the tough 3 years that we just had, some of you are confused. You don't know whether to cry or celebrate for the new year that has just come. Have faith in God. Have hope. Maybe you are saying, it is 2023 already and I have achieved nothing. Maybe it's time you ask God to give you a boost, to fast forward you into your future. God is not affected by time the same way we are affected by time. And if you live in Christ, ask for the ability to recover lost time. Those that wait upon the Lord renew their strength. They will run and not be weary. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will walk and not faint. All these past 3 tough years that we had, we celebrated for all of them. We said 2019 is my year, 2020 is my year, 2021 is my year, 2022 is my year. Many people believe in a magic of a new year instead of believing in a God who brought the new year. Some people have become skeptical because of the few tough years we had. This year I encourage you not to give up believing, but to change our focus. Instead of believing in 2023, let us recognize the God who created 2023. Let us not put our trust in a year, but in a God of 2023. Whatever may not be good in 2023, God will help us to overcome it. We don't know what kind of year is this year, but we know what kind of God is our God. We can trust Him in 2023. So as long as we have God, we have no reason to fear. He is the one who created the new year. I'm not worried about it because whatever darkness may be in it, I believe God will navigate me through this year. Though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for He is with me. In 2019, the pandemic came and most people's dreams were shattered, and so was the rest of them. Just when the pandemic was subsiding, 2022, the war came. Economic crisis and rising prices of everything came upon the world. And because of the disappointments of these past years, some of you have lost hope. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus. He is the author and finisher of our faith. If we trust in God, He has a way of recovering the time lost in our lives. He said to the people of Israel, I will restore the years wasted. Joel 2:25 says, and I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten, the cankerworms and the caterpillars and the palmer worms, my great army which I send among you. Some of you were supposed to have great achievements by now, but there has been some delays. May the God who's not affected by time help you with this dilemma. I have realized the way God relates with time is different from the way we relate with time. God is not affected by time the way we are. What is time? Try Google and check the dictionary and you will realize time is one of the most difficult terms to define. No one gives you a straightforward answer, but long, confusing descriptions of what time is. Try to research the meaning of time and you will get a very long and confusing explanation from different people. Just to give you an idea, I visited our most trusted Wikipedia to check their definition of time there, and this is what I found out. This is how they describe it. Time is the continued sequence of existence and events that occur in our apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present into the future. I think that gives you a clue of what I'm talking about. For the whole history of the earth, scientists have been trying to explain time in many different ways, and it is complicated. Let us go to the Bible and you will still realize it is complicated. Jesus said, let us read from John 8, it says from verse 57, then the Jews said to him, you are not yet 50 years old, and have you seen Abraham? Jesus said to them, most assuredly, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am. Let's repeat that. Before Abraham was, I am. Wow, I thought it was only the dictionary that was confusing. Jesus said, before Abraham was, I am. He doesn't say I was. He doesn't say before Abraham was, I was. He says I am. This is not a grammar mistake. Jesus meant exactly what he was saying. Now this shows you that God does not relate to time the way we do. God is not affected by time the way we are. God does not run out of time the way we run out of time. Before Abraham was, I am. This means not only was Jesus there before Abraham was born, but he is still there even now. He says, I am, meaning that God is in different time zones, past, present, and future. God is in 1909. He is in 2023. He is in 2030 already, and he is at the end of time. Jesus is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. God covers the whole time spectrum. He is in every time zone. If you doubt this, let me explain this in simpler terms. If you check some countries in the East, like Sydney, Australia, and you compare their local time with the state of Texas in USA, you will realize there is a 17-hour difference between these locations. With such a big time difference between those two places, how can God exist in both of them at the same time? Because He's God, He's omnipresent. He has the ability to be in different time zones at the same time. That's why I say time does not affect God the same way it affects us. God does not live inside time like we do. It seems as if time is inside of Him or part of Him. That's how big God is. As for us, we live in God. In Him we live and move and have our being. So we relate to time through God. When I check different scriptures from the Bible, there is a very strong association between time and God. It seems as if time is somehow intertwined with God. Let's read from Genesis 1 verse 1. It says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Watch that it doesn't say at the beginning. It says in the beginning, God created. Who is the beginning? Jesus said, "I am the beginning and the end." He doesn't say, "I was at the beginning and I will be at the end." He says, "I am the beginning and I am the end." Can you see that strong connection between God and time? So in other words, when Jesus said, "Before Abraham was, I am," he was saying to the Pharisees, "I am the very foundation on which Abraham was created. I am in the past, and I am in the present, and I am in the future." If you are afraid of the unknown, trust in the God who knows everything. He is our hope for the unknown and for the future. God is not controlled by time. He controls time. He has the ability to stop time, as we saw in the Old Testament. At one time when the Israelites were fighting, God stopped time. God stopped the sun from moving. So He is able to pause time. The Bible says there is time for everything. There is time to be born and there is time to die. There is time to plant and there is time to uproot. There is time to sow and there's a time to reap. There is a time to cry and there's a time to laugh. There's a time to mourn and there's a time to celebrate. Whatever time it is, we should let it happen. Our prayers will not change the time, but they can change our ability to handle the time we are living in. God may not change the nature of this year, but He can give us strength to survive the challenges we are facing. It is time for 2023 to happen. May God give us the perseverance to cope with 2023. May He give us the courage to ride this wave. Today, I want us to trust God together. I want us to pray together for our lives in the new year. May God give us the strength to handle all the challenges of this coming year. I pray that God may preserve our lives in this new year. I pray that our children may survive the harsh realities of this life. I pray that we may live and cope under the current economic situation. May God protect you and your family. May God protect you from crime. May He help us to survive sicknesses and diseases. May God help us to survive and live until our mandate here on earth is accomplished. This is Pastor Itani Madima, Kingdom Restoration Church. May you continue to enjoy God's blessings until we meet again. Stay blessed.